Hello, my name is Luke, and today I am going to do a tutorial on a bushy texture. If you are using Sprite, you can create a setup to easily construct seamless tiles. In the grid settings, change the dimensions to match your current canvas size. Then again, in the View tab along the top, enable Tiled mode on both the X and Y axis. Currently, my method is to create my tile and copy it onto a new canvas. I can then create variations of the same tile and copy them onto the new canvas too. Eventually, I end with a good looking tile set with little to no noticeable pattern. So, let's get started. To start with, I like to have a square or point. This is so that I have an origin for the bushy strands. To create the bushy strands or leaves, I use a zigzag pattern. I then start to add some lighting and simple AA to extend the leaves by 1 pixel. I will be watching the preview window with each little change I make to ensure it is looking correct. Sometimes when zoomed in, the image can look wrong. However, it's always best to use the preview window to check for mistakes, as this will show the real image and the end result. Create some more leaves continuing to extend from the origin point. As you get further out, it's time to start adding a few more highlights. Make sure the leaves that have light hitting them are always bigger, else you won't have space to add light to them. Finish off the gaps with more leaves. My greatest tip here and biggest cheat secret for leaves is use Tetris shapes. I create a new origin point to add variation. I use the same steps as the first origin point, building outwards and keeping an eye on the preview window. Much of this will be trial and error. You'll have an idea in your head, you just need to put it on the screen. Once I am happy, I add a few more highlights coming from this new origin point. Again, keeping an eye on the preview window, you'll see me changing things here and there. You will go through this process as well. It's all trial and error. It's not easy to get right the first time. Once I have finished, I will leave a link below. In this link you will find a reference image containing this picture. It will be zoomed in so you can study it and learn from it. It's time to add some depth to this picture. I do this by adding some shadows under and around the leaves. The shadows don't have to be accurate here. This is really just to add some depth to the grass. As we want it to appear as bushy as possible, we create many shadows. We do this a little bit at a time, little blobs here and there, and a constant eye on the preview window. Remember to do this in little blobs and little shapes, and after you are happy, you start to connect them with lines, just like massive cities or big towns connected by little roads. I do not usually go much deeper than this, but I thought I'd experiment. I start by adding a few voids. I then take a darker colour and start to fill in some more shadows to make it look even more deeper than it already is. As you are watching me experiment here, I am learning too. I thought I would show this process, just so it could help you out. Maybe. What I had done here, I had created big voids of black, dark shadow, and I decided that was just too much. So I split it up into little shapes. And again, Tetris shapes. Why not? I was unsure whether this was too much. Maybe it was. However, I wanted to keep trying. I wanted to go that bit deeper and keep experimenting. So I did the same as I did with the previous shadow. I started to connect all the single and double pixels with lines. Keeping an eye on the preview, I could see where this was working and where it was not. I adjusted this accordingly and started to create my canvas. Now that is all really for the bushy texture, but I wanted to add an edge, just to show you the process. This is really another tutorial, but I thought I would show it anyway. I use a brown colour to represent some dirt. I cut out a section that I want to use. I then expand some leaves into it. Under the leaves I add some shadows. This isn't really a tutorial on dirt, but to create the dirt effect here, all I did was add a few small shapes of different tones, light and dark. At a distance it looks good, and it will do. It's not perfect, but I just wanted to show you how to create the edge of these bushy tiles. You would go through the same process, top, bottom, corner, middle even, leaving gaps in between, creating big bushes, plants. It's all the same kind of process. I'd like to thank all my patrons. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do this. And with all their support, as little or as large, it all adds up, and I greatly appreciate this. It allows me to continue doing what I like to do, which is pixel art and helping others. As always, I wish you good health and a fantastic day.